Russia-Ukraine war live, Moscow planning to deploy reserved battalions in East Ukraine. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has now carried on for 109 days with a humanitarian crisis hitting pockets of the embattled nation. As the incessant pounding continues, Mariupol's mayor Vadym Boychenko warned of an imminent cholera threat as uncollected corpses poison the waterbodies. Meanwhile, Russia decided to formally withdraw from the UN WTO after Moscow was suspended in April. Rebranded McDonald's outlets start operations in Russia. Russian outlets of American fast food giant McDonald's, which withdrew operations from Russia in retaliation to Moscow's war on Ukraine in March, were reopened in the country as a new brand, Vkusno and Tikka, which translates to tasty and that. On March 14, shortly after Russia began its military offensive against Ukraine, McDonald's closed all 850 of its Russian outlets. On May 16, the company, which had a 7% share of the catering market, announced its withdrawal from Russia and sold the business to a Russian buyer, Alexander Gover, through the Ministry of Industry. Russia planning to deploy reserved battalions in eastern Ukraine, UK intelligence. The UK's intelligence reports have claimed that Russia is planning to deploy reserved battalions. UK's Defence Ministry also claimed that Russia continues to seek to generate more combat units to deploy to Ukraine. In recent weeks, it has likely started preparing to deploy the 3rd Battalion from some combat formations, the ministry said in a statement. Putin wants to destroy Ukrainian culture, POTUS. Joe Biden. U.S. President Joe Biden said that Russian President Vladimir Putin wants to obliterate Ukraine and its culture. In his address on June 12, which is also celebrated as Russia Day, Biden said Putin believes there's no such thing as an independent Ukrainian culture and that is why we're giving help to Ukraine. The Kyiv Independent reported him Canadian lottery winner to donate from his $70 million prize money to rebuild Ukraine. A Canadian lottery winner has pledged some of his prize money worth $70 million toward rebuilding Ukraine. Citing Canadian CTV News, the Kyiv Independent reported that the person named Marcel Lucier hails from Quebec and plans to help Ukraine residents with autism. Volodymyr Zelensky wins Boris Nemtsov Prize for Courage. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky has been awarded the Boris Nemtsov Prize 2022 for his courage and leadership during the ongoing Russian war. According to the Ukrainian media house Ukrinform, Zelensky beat Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko, leader of the OKNLZ band Sviatoslav Vakarchuk, founder of a unit of combat volunteer medics Yulia Payevska, Tyra, presidential advisor Alexei Arestovich, and others. Russia destroys second bridge leading to Severodonetsk. Luhansk Oblast Governor Serhiy Haidai revealed that the Russian forces have destroyed the second of 3 bridges connecting Severodonetsk. He further revealed that the Russians are currently shelling the last overpass leading to Severodonetsk with an aim to cut the town off. Russia intends to repeat the Holodomor famine in Ukraine. Officials say the Russian Federation is trying to repeat the Holodomor famine in Ukraine. Head of the country's presidential office Andrei Yermak said as Russians continued their invasion of Ukraine without. In a statement shared on Telegram, Yermak asserted that Russian President Vladimir Putin's troops were shelling agricultural lands in an attempt to annihilate the heart. Notably, Volodymyr Zelensky has many times highlighted that invaders were deliberately destroying crops and agricultural equipment. Russia hits back at Biden's accusations against Moscow over rising inflation. A day after U.S. President Joe Biden blamed Russia for unprecedented inflation in the United States, Russian First Deputy Permanent Representative to the United Nations, Dmitry Polyansky held POTUS responsible for skyrocketing prices of commodities in his country and said, "Looks like President Putin is governing." Notably, the prices of gas, food and most other goods and services surged in May, raising inflation to a new 4-decade high. On Friday, the U.S. president again blamed the Russian invasion of Ukraine for rising inflation in the U.S. and Europe. IAEA resumes communication link with Zaporizhzhia NPP, says Energoatom. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, on Saturday re-established communication lines with Europe's largest nuclear plant in Europe, Zaporizhzhia, Ukraine's state energy regulator. Communication between the ZNPP servers, which were monitoring nuclear materials, and the IAEA has been re-established, the company said in a message on its Telegram channel. Notably, the operation of radioactive material data transfer systems was deactivated since May 30 after mobile operator Vodafone suspended services in Energodar city following the Russian take. Russian missile hits Ternopil, 12-year-old among 22 injured. At least 21 adults, including a 12-year-old child, were injured after Russian troops bombed 5-story residential building in Shortkiv. The wounded individuals have been hospitalized and under critical treatment, the head of Ternopil Regional State Administration, Volodymyr Trush told Ukrinform. Among the victims are 7 women. 10 ambulances are at the blast site for now, he added. It is not my day. Silent protests erupt outside Moscow's defense ministry on Russian Day. Activists and critics of the Russian war against Ukraine on June 12 staged silent protests outside Moscow's defense ministry building with banners and placards saying "It is not my day." Latvian FM urges Moscow to abandon imperial ambitions in congratulatory wish on Russian Day. Latvian Foreign Minister Edgars Rinkevics on Sunday wished Moscow defeat in the war in Ukraine in his message to Kremlin on Russian Day. In his rather mocking greeting, he urged Russia to give up its imperial ambitions and embrace the modern society. Russian troops suffer major losses in Severodonetsk, claims Ukraine military. The Ukrainian military, in its daily war update on Sunday, reported the killing of 100 Russian soldiers in the last 24 hours. According to the Armed Forces General Staff, its forces have killed 32,150 Russian soldiers and destroyed at least 1,430 war tanks since the onset of the invasion. Besides, it claimed that the Russian troops suffered the biggest losses in Severodonetsk and Bakhmut regions. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un congratulates Putin on Russia Day. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on June 12 sent a congratulatory telegram to Russian President Vladimir Putin on the 30th occasion of Russia. Moscow commemorates this day for the adoption of the Declaration of State Sovereignty of the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic, RSFSR, on June 12, 1990. Ukraine thanks Musk for Starlink kits. We defend freedom on Earth to establish it on Mars. On receiving truckloads of Starlink antennas, Ukraine Armed Forces on Saturday extended their gratitude to Elon Musk, saying his satellite systems have helped the Ukrainian intelligence services to render more accurate damages to Russian artillery. Multitasker at Elon Musk manages not only to work on preparations for the Mars mission but also to pass the Starlinks to our intelligence so needed for their special missions, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry in a Twitter. Army defends freedom on Earth so that it can be established on Mars as well. They added as over thousands of terminals are actively involved in determining and destroying Russian targets.